Hello friends, welcome to Testing Talks Latest. Today I am going to explain my interview experience with EPAM. This is for one of the automation testing profile with Selenium and Java. APIAutomation testing also is part of this profile. And first question as part of the interview is please explain about yourself and roles and responsibilities in your previous project. So this is common question for any kind of interview. We can explain our roles and responsibilities in current company and explain about the recent project for this question. And next question is how to find the duplicate characters in a string using Selenium and Java. This can be done in different ways. One way is using hash map, and other way using set, and third way using char array. Using char array, I already made a video and provide that video URL in the description. You can go through that in the way if it is required. So using hash map, we are going to implement a class and a method with a test annotation to run using TestNG. We need to import our test annotation for running it, and driver equal to new Chrome driver I have defined and specified the URL of the website. Next I am fetching the element text, and for that element text replace the values of the spaces with blank, and later getting the later inserted hash map with character as a key and integer as a value, and look through all the characters of the string using two char array. So and fetching the each char and counting the char. If there is no characters as part of the char count hash map, we'll put 0 plus 1 means 1, or else we'll get the count plus 1. So if already two characters are there, it will be plus 1, 3, it will be count. If it is 0 characters as part of the hash map, we can use getter default to count it as 1. So this way getter default will be simplify the this statement instead of using contains key, if and else statements using contains key. So instead directly we can use getter default to count one character or more than one character as part of the hash map from the string. And later I used for loop to fetch entries of the char count hash map using map.entry. So and fetching the values. If value greater than 1, I'm going to print key for that value from the hash map and quitting the driver. This is how we can find the duplicates if more than one character is part of the string. And there is another way to find duplicates. This is by defining two different sets, and here I am passing the text as Selenium and looping through the each character from the text string by converting to two char array. And if scene set adding the character, when it will add the character, it will add the character when it is not a duplicate. If that is not added, it will be go to the duplicates dot add. Means if scene set does not contains a character, it will add to the scene set. Otherwise, if it is already contains that character, it will go to duplicates. So duplicates will have the whenever character is repeated, duplicate will set will have the duplicate characters if character is more than once repeated. So this is how we can find using set. So third question was related to previous question, and it is explained about what is the use of Lambda expression in the previous program. So we can use Lambda expression for this for loop. So by implementing the Lambda expression as such, char count dot for each, specifying the key and value. If value greater than 1, we can directly print the key. So this way Lambda expression make our programming easy. So and Lambda expression is one of the programming which makes our statements clear, and as part of the functions we can able to create the script. And next questions are about API testing related. So first question in API testing is, what is the difference between post and put methods? Post method will create the new test data in our backend, and put method will update the values. And multiple requests create multiple resources? No, it cannot be. Post does not create multiple resources, multiple test data each time when you submit, but put will be updated by executing the same request again and again. Adds new data for post, replace the existing data for put. Put is like update, post is like adding the new data in the database backend. It will create the post will create the duplicates, but put won't create the duplicates. And post will create 201 and put will create 200 or 204 as part of the request submission. An example URL could be like this for post, user/101, something like that for put. So this is the way the difference between post and put is exist. So we can explain about based on our existing API we used for one of the scenario. We can explain how we updated post data for users, and how we created new data for post, and how we updated new data for put. We can explain those things for different scenarios. And next question is about when do we receive 401 and 500 status codes in API testing. 401 will be one of the status code received whenever we pass unauthorized token, and the client URL is unauthorized, and missing authorization header also one of the region to get the 401. If it is invalid username and password or API keys, authorization token, what token if it is wrong, this kind of situations 401 error will come. And 500 error is the internal server error. There is issue will be come from server. That kind of errors will start with the 5 sequence, and 500 is one of the error such kind like null pointer or unhandled exception or database connection failure, such like will get 500 error. And as part of the last question, he asked me to explain about one of the scenario I did for automation. I explained the scenario which is part of the validation using get request, and this get request details I have provided here. It will have the method post through the postman I am going to submit, and URL and user ID. This could be part of the URL we are inputting as part of the request, and bearer token is the for authorization, and content type application JSON, or for rest we can use application JSON. And for as part of the automation, I used to following script to automate. So for testing the status code, I used pm.test. Pm here in the sense postman.test. This function such as status code is 200, name of the function, and as part of the function I verified pm.response. Response is coming from the API, should have the status 200. So this pm response.to have status is verifying the response should have 200 status or not. Next function is checking the verify response time. Response time for this function should be below From this function we are verifying like response time is below 2000 or not. In the case if our response is not below 2000, we are going to fail the test case. Since APIs should be faster, we are expecting 2 seconds as the response time. And the next verification is part of the headers to have content type and expect the header as application.json. So content type header should contain the application JSON as the value. And next verification I did expect the response to not be empty. So response should be something from this get request. And the next verification I did fetch the JSON, and the JSON ID response ID should be integer. We are parsing the value, and it should be equal to some value from the environment variable we are going to get from our test data. So next verification is part of the mandatory fields. So we are fetching the JSON data using pm.response.json and expecting JSON data to have properties like name, to have property email. And next verification is that we are verifying that whether the values are ID is number or not, name is string or not, and email is string or not. This way we will automate the APIs using PostMan. With this question my interview is ended. For any latest interview questions or tutorials, follow my channel, subscribe my channel for the latest interview questions. Thanks for your support.